Hello! In this video, I want to briefly discuss what microeconomics is all about. I want to give you the big picture. I want to begin to answer the question, what does microeconomics help us achieve? The short answer is, microeconomics helps us make better decisions. This is really the main reason why anyone should want to learn economics in general and microeconomics in particular. Okay, here are some of my thoughts. The reason we need economics is scarcity, the fact that all resources are limited. The reason why scarcity is so important is that it forces us to make choices, to make decisions. And economics is a science that studies how to make the best choice. Of course, whenever we make a choice, we face trade-offs. That is, all choices imply choosing one course of action instead of another. This means that any choice that we make involves both benefits and costs, and the costs are measured by what we give up. In economics, we call this the opportunity cost of an action. When we make choices using economics, we will usually compare the marginal benefit to the marginal cost. If we have included all relevant costs, the opportunity cost, then we know that we have an incentive to do something if the marginal benefit is greater than the marginal cost. And economics tells us to do the action. This perhaps sounds easy, but it's really not. In fact, in the presence of market failures and distortions, it is often difficult to figure out what the true cost of an action is, and therefore it is difficult to determine what the optimal choice is. However, once we understand the importance of scarcity to economics, and we understand that economics is a study of the choices that we make in the face of scarcity, then we are ready to think about how to make the best choice, the optimal choice. How do we make good decisions, whether in our personal lives, in our professional lives, or just as citizens? Well, the approach we will use is optimization. Optimization is a tool we use to make the best choice. In order to implement optimization, we have to know a couple of things. First, we have to know what our objective is. What are we trying to achieve? This might sound obvious, but it might not be. In general, if you are a consumer, your objective is to maximize your happiness, to maximize your utility. If you're a firm owner, your objective is to either maximize your profit or perhaps to minimize your cost. If you're in government, your objective is to maximize the level of well-being of society. Or at least that's what we hope your objective is. Once we know what we're trying to achieve, our objective, then the second thing we must determine is our constraints. Your constraints, your limited resources, is of course what makes maximizing happiness or profit or well-being difficult. This is what makes us make tough choices. And the way to navigate these tough choices is to use what's called constrained optimization. Constrained optimization is a tool we use to reach our objectives given our constraints. All right, once we accept that the best way to make choices is constrained optimization, we also realize that we need to be able to use calculus. This is why calculus is necessary for careful and advanced study of economics and business topics. As soon as we want to carefully solve our problems by making good choices, we also realize that we need to create, build, and use models. A model is simply a description of the relationship between two or more variables. It is also a simplification of the real world. And the key to simplifying the real world is to make assumptions that capture the essence of the problem while removing extraneous factors. Our assumptions define our models. That is, once we have made assumptions regarding what is important and what is not important, we are ready to create our objective function and set up our constraints. That is, we are ready to set up a model that can be solved using constrained optimization. This is really what we do in microeconomics. We apply this kind of thinking to the many problems around us. We tackle consumer choice, firm behavior, and the choices facing government while trying to make assumptions about behavior, about market structures, and about market failures. This approach can be effectively used when trying to solve almost any problem that we observe in the real world. The ability to build a model and then solve it using constraint optimization is a key skill for anyone who wants to be able to think like an economist. I welcome you to the dark side.